Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single-barrel-only liquor store. This store is owned and operated by Steve Cailee and Jim Fosnot. Get signed up for their email distribution list to find out when the store will be opening, what their hours will be, and most importantly, what they will have in inventory at abvbarrelshop.com. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebartogo.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we complete a bourbon bracket challenge to determine the best whiskey release so far in 2022. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Cailee, along with our special guests, Cailee Baker, Jim Fosnot, and Evan Van Scoik.
Hey, gang, what's up?
How we doing?
Yo. Good. Very good. Exciting times. We're going to be talking about the best release so far of 2022. It's still early enough, and there's a little activity that happens this first part of the year, but most of them happen really second part with a really, fourth quarter is when a lot of that stuff happens. But we'll talk about where we're at sitting today. We're going to do a bracket challenge, and we'll see if we can figure out which one is the best so far. But before we get to that, Evan said there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that, Evan?
Yeah, so we're doing a best of 2022 episode. So I have thought about, how about in our lives? What's the best thing that you've done or had happen to you so far in 2022?
Yes. I mean, for me, it was signing the lease on the shop. I mean, this is the dream come true. It's the next stage. I like to say it's the final chapter. It's the last thing that I'm going to be doing. Started a media company 6 years ago now. Got this, and we may expand this. There may be other things we do with this, but it's not like I'm looking for some big business down the road. This is it, and I'm really excited about what this represents. Jim, you may have something better than that, but is yours the same, or no, I don't know what else Jim has going on in his life. So he might have something bigger.
Exact same as yours. I couldn't be more excited about this. Signing that lease, it made it real.
Yeah.
It's we've committed at this point, financially, legally. We're in. And just going in every day and just working on it and seeing the progress has just been a lot of fun. Stuff we posted today with the Booker's wall and the painting the office and just little stuff here and there. It's going to take a few weeks to get it all together. It's going to be a lot of work, but when we're done with it, it's all ours. Like no one has anything to say about what we do but us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like what we said, what's our policy on drinking? Well, we decided, yes, we can drink on the job. Yeah. It's okay. So, yeah. So, I love everything about it. Yeah. I'm talking to distillers. We're working out things. It's just, even though it's not open yet, and it's a while from being open yet, it feels like it's already happening because we're talking with our distillery buddies saying, "Can you make this happen? Can we do this?" And they're all stepping up and helping us. Whether it's giving stuff for the shop that will incorporate all this cool stuff from distilleries in there, or giving us unique products and things like that. I mean, that's really cool. And then some of our friends have stopped by and visited, and it just feels like that's what it's going to be like when we get there. It's going to be a place where we get to hang out with our friends and have a business there. So it's really cool. So
it's gonna be like if Cheers was a single barrel shop.
Yes. Yeah. That's what it's gonna be like.
Rick's gonna be Norm and
yeah, exactly. I anticipate if you want to see the people that from St. Louis that are on these podcasts, go there. They'll be hanging around. All right. How about you, Evan? No, you're last because you asked the question. Right. Cailee, what about you?
I'm having trouble thinking of like one thing. I mean, it's been a pretty good year, but the most exciting thing that's happened to me recently was winning the allocated. I got the number 5 pick, and I got this cool bottle of Maker's Mark, the Derby 2022 edition. So that was pretty cool.
Very nice.
I mean,
Very nice.
last year I got married, so it's kind of hard to compare anything to that, you know? So it's like, I mean, this year's been cool, but nothing super exciting has been happening.
I mean, yeah, we came out to visit you. I mean,
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of made my...
That was epic, right?
Yeah, that kind of made the first half of my year complete, you know?
Yeah. Beka, how about you? What's been the highlight so far of 2022?
I'd say that distillery wise, winning our second double gold with the absinthe,
that's
and
huge.
then winning our first double gold with our bourbon.
And,
Those
yeah.
like I was very close to crying that day. Like Royce was sitting there, not letting me look at the email, and he was slowly reading it, and I was like about in tears.
Yeah.
So that would be like distillery wise, and then the house just getting like finally coming together. Like
Yeah. A place to live. Yeah.
yeah, like
It's not bad.
Like recently, I've been moving like we had our whole closet on the main floor just because I hadn't moved anything up to our actual closet yet because we're gonna be painting and stuff still. But I decided to move all that up there, and we just things getting completed so that it feels like our house and not just a place we're living in is really exciting. Like ordering new furniture and like just getting handles on cabinets and just all that, like kind of the little things that seem dumb, but like those bring me so much joy and excitement on a regular basis. Like whenever things are actually happening.
But you have to miss the Ramada, don't you?
Oh my God. We actually like are just blocking out that time in our lives as much as possible.
Just trying to forget. Yeah.
And like living in the camper for a while, living at Kyle Kelly's house for a while, living in the fucking Ramada for 460 days or whatever it was. We're just blocking that out from our memory. Because it sucked. And so just like having a house and being able to have friends come over and stay with us it just feels nice, and having a place to hang out with friends, and if we need to bring clients or the banker up here, and like it not being a like, oh, don't mind the plywood countertop that we have and the random shelves I bought from Target for our kitchen, and it just feeling like an actual like close to being completed house just feels so good. And so that should be done hopefully in the next couple months, but just every single time we do more, it's amazing.
Cool.
I do want to say before we go on, also Key West was definitely a highlight of the year.
Epic. Yeah.
That was so much fun.
That was a great time.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
great time I'll never remember.
that's just a given. I mean, that Key West is just amazing. So yeah, that's the best time of the year for sure. E, how about you, man?
Yeah, so probably I'm gonna pull a work one out. So for probably 8 months, I was planning a work event. It was kind of like a miniature conference town hall type event. And that finally happened on March 2nd. And we were able to turn out over 3,400 employees tuned in to our broadcast. So, you know, we're a pretty small team. Like my team's like about 17, 20 people big. And we've been working really hard to try and reach a larger employee base, which, you know, we have like 100,000 employees. But we had never had any type of like big event, like over 100 people like attend something, and to have 3,400 employees tune in was a pretty big deal. So that was kind of a culmination of a lot of work I was doing for like 8 months.
Nice.
Well,
that's a lot of people.
That is, yeah.
That is a lot of people.
That's pressure packed too, because you need the technology to work, and then you want your team to do good, and who's ever involved in that. So yeah, that's not an easy feat. So yeah, congrats on that. Well, on that note, it is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Jim. Jim, what do you got there, man?
I'm going with there's no label on this, but this is actually a Bald and Bond moonshine from Neely Family Distillery that Heidi filled right out of the barrel for the Bourbon Experience book. So
Okay.
We have not opened this yet, so let's
Make
see.
dreams come true at the ABV Network. That's good. That's good. It could be enough. We'll see. All right, Beka, you're next.
This is a sample that one of my employees brought in. I think that it's High West double rye finished in Madeira casks.
Yeah.
I think that's what this is. Because I don't know. I guess I'm not sure, but it's just a sample. So I don't have a cork pop.
Okay. All right. Cailee, what do you got?
So in the spirit of talking about releases of this year, I believe this was released on Bottled and Bond Day, but it's MB Rollins Barker's Mill, straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey, bottled and bond. So here we go. Oh shit! All right.
Oh, there's our lead, and that is going to be tough to look at. Cailee, look at the quite a little smile there underneath. All right, I've got a release for this year. It's a barrel pick from this year. This is from Stubborn German. Jim was actually at this one with me. A good one, Yellowstone. So here we go. Stephen Fonte was there. No, nothing going on there. So Cailee has the lead. She's in good shape here, but Evan, you're between her and victory. What do you got?
All right, I'm bringing in a real nice release from 2022. This is Stumpy's wheat whiskey. So that's the bottled and bond 100 proof wheat whiskey with the higher proof wheat and the lower proof to make it 100. So awesome. Really good. Only opened it once, so this will be the second opening.
Okay. That was good. A little squeaky, but Cailee's was explosive. So she certainly has that one. So cheers to Cailee.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Roast.
All right. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to do a bracket challenge of the best release of 2022. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot in the greater St. Louis area. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only focuses on single barrels. We aren't open just yet, but our plan is to have the most diverse single barrel offerings from our many friends in the world of bourbon. By signing up for a weekly email, you will know our entire inventory we have on hand. In addition to single barrels, we'll have a tasting bar and a gift shop featuring logo merchandise for both the shop and the ABV network, as well as a full curriculum of bourbon education classes. Additionally, we'll use the gift shop to feature products from our partners in the world of bourbon, companies like Art Eatable Chocolates and Old Man Bay Signs. Head over to ABV Barrel Shop to sign up for our email and text distribution list so you can stay in the know. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
This is Bob. I'm in Ohio. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're going to figure out the best release so far in 2022.
Yes, we are. So the contenders are as follows. Number 1, the Yellowstone Original Recipe. Number 2, Booker's Ronnie's Batch. Number 3, Kentucky Owl St. Patrick's Edition. Number 4, Blue Run's Straight High Rye Bourbon distilled by Jim Rutledge. That makes it interesting. Number 5, Old Fitzgerald Bottle and Bond for the spring 2022 edition. Castle and Key Bourbon. They had the big bourbon release. Sweeten's Cove, Tennessee. So that combination, that blend of Tennessee and Kentucky whiskey. And then finally, Barrel Seagrass, 16-year-old. the 16-year-old version. All right. Up first, Cailee, you're going to be going first. Our matchups are going to look like this. Let's just run down the list and we'll come back to you, Cailee. Sweetens Cove, Tennessee will take on Castle and Key Bourbon. Yellowstone Original Recipe will take on the Kentucky Owl St. Patrick's Day edition. The Blue Run, the High Rye Bourbon by Jim Rutledge will take on the new Booker's release. And then finally, the 16-year-old Barrel Seagrass will take on the Old Fitz Bottled and Bond, the spring release. Cailee, you're first. Our first matchup is the Sweetens Cove, Tennessee, the much cheaper product. I think it's like $69 versus $200 plus for the regular Sweetens Cove, versus the Castle and Key Bourbon. Which one do you think is the more exciting release of the spring here?
Well, I've been excited for Castle and Key's Bourbon since I saw the story of Bourbon, the documentary, a long time ago. So I think I've been looking forward to that the most, but for Sweetens Cove to have a quite a bit cheaper bourbon for me to buy, and it's Tennessee, and I'm a Kentucky, Tennessee girl. Like, I've grown up my whole life in Kentucky and Tennessee. So I think I'm going to have to go with that one on this one.
All
Something
right.
I can afford easily.
Tennessee goes up 1-0. What do you think, Evan? Sweetens Cove, Tennessee, or the Castle and Key Bourbon?
Yeah, for me, I think I'm going to go with the Castle and Key. They've been using a source product for a while, and now it's like their own Castle and Key Bourbon. I think that's a big deal. So I'm going to go with that.
All right, Jim.
I'm gonna go against Evan there and go with Sweetens Cove. I'm looking forward to what Castle Key has out, but this is their first release, but I think they got a long way to go still. From everything I know, there's some issues in the distillery when they were first opening and stuff, so I'm not sure this is going to be their best stuff coming out. I'm looking forward to tasting it, but I honestly haven't had. But Sweetens Cove is what I'm excited about.
All right, Miss Beka Sue, Sweetens Cove or Castle and Key Bourbon?
So this is the best releases. I'm gonna go. It's because it's not most anticipated. It's best. So although I'm excited about the Castle and Key, like Jim said. Sweetens Cove is probably better.
Right. Sweetens Cove, Tennessee moves on. All right, next up is the Yellowstone Original Recipe versus the Kentucky Owl St. Patrick's Day edition. Evan, you are first.
I'm going to go Yellowstone on this one.
Yellowstone, the original recipe goes up 1-0. Jim, what do you think?
Well, you know this house, Steve, and if I go against Yellowstone, I get in trouble. But I love what they're doing, and I think that's great stuff. And especially when you look at the prices on the two, it's like Kentucky Owl. Nobody loves them like they love themselves. They do some really good stuff, but they're just taking the secondary market prices out there, and so dollar for dollar, I'll go Yellowstone all day long.
Yellowstone. Yeah, that means Yellowstone's up 2-0. Miss Beka Sue, what do you think?
I'm definitely going to be a little bit biased this week because I got to hang out with Steve Fonte on Saturday. He stopped by and I said to him, it's kind of, I never would have thought that I would be drilling into a barrel in a rick house that's owned by my husband to give you a pour of something.
How about that, huh?
So it was the weirdest, coolest experience. And so I'm maybe a little bit more biased this week than I would be next week, but I'm going Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. That means Yellowstone does move on. Shout out to Kentucky Owl. Looks like a little bit of a nice comeback. You haven't heard a whole lot about them, but they did get a lot of good. Seems like people like that St. Patrick's Day one. So hopefully they'll be back on track to do some good things. All right. Next up is round number 3. Jim, you're going to be first. The Blue Run. This is a high rye bourbon that Jim Rutledge himself distilled, or the new Booker's batch for 2022. Release number 1, it is Ronnie's batch.
I'm going to go with the Blue Run. I love Booker's. They do some great stuff. But it's not as, I guess, exciting or rare as a release. And anything Rutledge does, I'm pretty excited about. So I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. Miss Beka Sue.
I too got to go with my boys over at Blue Run.
Blue Run. I'm going to agree. I think that, yes, it's just different enough. And again, what makes it here for me is not that it's Blue Run. It's the fact that it's the Jim Rutledge stuff. So, he's been contracting, doing some things on the side, putting stuff away for a rainy day type of thing. And here's the rainy day. So yeah, it's one that I'd like to get a hold of for sure. All right. That means Blue Run moves on. Next up, round number 4, the Barrel Seagrass, the 16-year-old versus the Old Fitz Bottled and Bond Spring of 22. The cool decanter Old Fitz we're talking about here. Round 4, Miss Beka Sue, you're first.
I'm gonna go with Seagrass. I mean, all I see is, and not just you, Steve. This does not involve you, but I mean, it does a little bit. But I've seen so many people talk about Seagrass and how great it is that I got to go with Seagrass.
Seagrass, yeah. I'm going to go with that too. I you talk about, cool release, excited about release. We like Seagrass, and now here's an older edition of it. What's that all about? So I think that's the one that captures my attention. I have some. We're doing an event actually next week, and I haven't tried it because I want to try it with the group. So, but yeah, it's definitely one that's excited about and can't wait to try that. And that's happening soon. So that's going to get my vote. Next up is Cailee.
So I'm going to go with the Old Fitz because I think I don't know. I want to give it some life in this game. And also I think I would be more stoked to grab one of those because I don't have one in my collection.
Okay. Evan, Barrel Seagrass, 16-year-old is up 2-1 over the spring release of Old Fitz Bottled and Bond. What's your vote?
I mean, being 16-year-old is just an exciting time in life. You're thinking about driving. You want to get your first car. And Seagrass is just all grown up. And I'm going to go with Barrel Seagrass.
The Seagrass moves on. All right, here's what our final 4 looks like. This Sweeten's Cove, Tennessee will take on Yellowstone Original Recipe. The Blue Run, distilled by Jim Rutledge, will take on the Barrel Seagrass 16-year. Round number 5, I'm going to go first. Sweeten's Cove versus Yellowstone Original Recipe. This one's not even close for me. I'm so excited about this Yellowstone Original Recipe. The fact that Steve Beam found this recipe in family archives and thought ahead years ago in plans for their 150th anniversary as a special release to do then. It's a great story. Great story goes with interesting bourbon. I want to try the bourbon. Hopefully it's great bourbon. I don't know that yet. It's just hitting the market now as we speak. So, but I'm very interested in it, and that's going to get my vote here. Cailee, you're next. Sweeten's Cove, Tennessee, or the Yellowstone Original Recipe?
Yeah, I got to go with the Yellowstone Original Recipe.
Yeah. So Yellowstone Original Recipe goes up 2-0. Evan, what do you think?
Yeah, so in preparation for this, I actually ordered a pour from a bar, that I hardly ever do, of 2021 Yellowstone Special Edition, the one that's the Amarone cask finish. And I'd say that was delightful. And I've had some really great bottles of Yellowstone I've tried in the past, so I'm going with Yellowstone Original Recipe.
Yeah, he busted himself there because he knew he was wrong when he said before he doesn't order anything it's water because that's what he gets in the bars. Yeah, right. All right. Okay, that means Yellowstone Original Recipe moves on. We'll be in the finale. It's going to be taken on either Blue Run, High Rye Bourbon, that's distilled by Jim Rutledge, or Seagrass 16-year-old. Round number 6. Cailee, you're going to lead this one off. What are your thoughts, Blue Run or Seagrass? Oh, you're on mute or something.
Yep, sorry. I'm going to go with Blue Run. I love anything Jim Rutledge does, so for sure.
We should have just left her on mute. You're next.
This is a tough matchup. They both definitely are exciting entrants, but Steve loves Seagrass so much. He loves it so much, and I got a bottle of Seagrass, and it is quite nice. So it would be very interesting to taste that. And to see, what that age did and how it evolved. What it's already a very unique and interesting bottle. And I just don't love high rye bourbons as much as some other people. So I'm going to go with Barrel Seagrass 16.
All right, Barrel Seagrass has tied it up. Jim, you're next. Barrel Seagrass 16 or Blue Run, high rye bourbon distilled by Jim Rutledge. You can't discount that. That's pretty cool.
listen, and Rose has probably been involved in more of these than we.
Oh
would
yeah,
say.
yeah. He's got several.
I mean, I know he's involved in a one for sure that we already voted out.
Yeah,
and I love what he does. But Seagrass to me is just such a unique bottle in the last couple of years to come out. It's just one of those. It kind of just transcends bourbon. It's been a great bottle. So the 16-year-old to me is just so intriguing. I can't wait to taste that. So that's one I'm definitely more excited about.
all right. 16-year-old goes up 2-1 over Blue Run. Miss Beka Sue, you're next.
I already know it's gonna go however I vote. But I'm gonna throw one more out because I do love, opposite of Evan, I do really love a good high rye. And so I'm gonna put mine out to Blue Run.
Blue Run. I am not. I am going to go with Seagrass, the 16-year-old, putting it in the finals where it will go up against Yellowstone Original Recipe. Gosh, now I hate this one. This one, I love the idea of both of these. This one is really, really tough. Evan, you're going to be first. Which one more excites you, Yellowstone Original Recipe or Seagrass 16-year?
So I've seen the price of 16. Do we know what Yellowstone, is it going to be like the special release price? Is it closer to their normal bottles? Do we know?
No, it's a special release price, but I don't think I think it's like 89 or something like that. So okay. I think it's more than regular Yellowstone, but it's not as high as like the limited edition release that comes out every year.
Yeah, and I think 16 Seagrass, what was that, like 150-ish?
16 years? No, that's like 249.
240. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking it was like 150, but 250. Yeah, so that's a lot. So I'm gonna throw in a little bit of what Jim mentioned earlier, is like dollar for dollar here. Is you're probably going to be more accessible to Yellowstone, be able to taste it, enjoy it more than you may ever get your hands on any Seagrass 16. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and give the vote to Yellowstone Original Recipe.
I like your thought process. I don't know that it stands up. And again, not just a Seagrass thing here. I feel like because of the high price, you do have the opportunity to buy the Seagrass, and the Yellowstone it's vaporized. Okay. I hope I can find about. I'm probably going to call in a favor is what I'm going to have to do, and I'm going to not be above that. So I'll but I just don't think you're going to see it.
Call it good.
It's less than like Four Roses limited edition. You know how hard those are to find, and they're releasing in 3 different releases too. So imagine only having as much as Four Roses limited edition, but then dividing it by 3, and it's going to be impossible to find.
Fair.
But yeah, and again, that doesn't necessarily change what you said there, though, Evan. You had a good assessment. All right, Jim, you're next. Yellowstone Original Recipe or Seagrass 16-year-old. Yellowstone is up 1-0.
So I'm not gonna lie. I went into this thinking, boy, the one I'm probably most excited about is Seagrass 16. But as I think about it, that original recipe and that they found this recipe.
That's pretty special.
And, that's one to me that is just so unique, and enough would make me happier and make my wife happier than if I could bring a bottle at home. So I'm probably more excited about that and overall. I'm hopeful I'll get to taste both of them at some point, but if I had to say which I'm more excited about, I guess it's the Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Okay. That means Yellowstone is quickly up 2-0. Miss Beka Sue, what are your thoughts? Yellowstone Original Recipe or Seagrass 16?
Do I want to make the decision, or do I want to make someone else make the decision? We have what, Cailee left and you, Steve?
Yes.
I'm going to throw one out here to Seagrass.
Seagrass. Okay. That means Seagrass has a vote, and Yellowstone is up 2-1 over Seagrass. But I'll say this. Gosh darn, I'm excited about that Seagrass. But that Yellowstone is one of the best stories in bourbon. I do think it is going to be tougher to get than the Seagrass. I just think that the price point, everybody's in on the hunt, and there's less bottles. I'm more excited about that. As much as I love the idea of the 16-year-old seagrass, I'm dying for this Yellowstone. So I got to give my vote to that. It means it is over. Yellowstone original recipe is our champion. It was a good finale, though. I like the two that were in there. I think we picked the right two for the finale. It just worked out
for
that
sure.
way. And
Exciting. It's surprising, Steve, because I thought for sure seagrass would be your number one.
Steve gave me such a hard time about choosing Yellowstone. He's like, your reasoning's wrong, but I'm choosing the same one.
I just wanted to point out that I do think it's going to be tougher to get that Yellowstone. So, yeah.
I didn't think about that. That was a good point.
Yeah. So there you go. There it is. So hunt it down. If you get a spare bottle, please go into the ABV network. Actually, reach out to me on social media, because if it goes to me on the ABV network, MacLeod gets it and it'll never get to me. And you'll be sending your bottle to someone else on the staff that will get it, and it won't be me. So, yeah, let me know.
She's not going to share.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I'll
bring it by the ABV Barrel Shop.
Yeah. Come by the barrel shop.
MacLeod would share with me. I feel like he would share with me.
The first I'd hear would be on that bottle kill show she's got. Like, this is when I came into the ABV network. Bottle kill time. Yeah, I'll be like, what the hell?
Where you'd hear about it is on a show, and she'd be like, someone sent me this bottle?
Right.
And like, I just think it's so cool that someone sent it to me. And so thank you so much for sharing. I'm already almost done with it.
Yeah.
You made the best bourbon slushies I've ever had.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. All right, Cailee, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Cailee Baker and at The Bourbon Bakers.
All right, Evan.
Yeah, you can find me hanging out on the ABV Network Crew Club on Facebook. So you should join the club. Also, the ABV Network Patreon community is a great place.
Yes.
So if you're not already a Patreon, you should do that. And if you're just feeling like you want to see a random post about bourbon, like at once every 2 weeks, you can follow me on Instagram at Wisdom Whiskey.
All right, Jim, how about you?
You can find me on Facebook at Jim Fosnot, on Instagram at FosJim, or you can find me working on the shop with Steve Akeley at the ABV Barrel Shop in Missouri, in Arnold, Missouri. Come see us.
Come see us. All right, Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website, though, is abvnetwork.com. Please check that out. Everything that we do is out there. If you're looking at any of our communications, maybe you want to sign up for it, because we do send out 2 communications every week, 1 every other week. You definitely want to get involved in those. So check us out at abvnetwork.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps when people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Cheers.
See you later. Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's upcoming Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.